What's up? This is John Bunger, Game Master for Douglas and Dragons Podcasts, along with Wooly Toots himself, Jared Cvetas.
Hey man, what's happening, John?
Yo. Hey man, doing good. And tonight, man, we're going to do this Pathfinder. We're going to build a Pathfinder character, and we're going to walk people through it. And this should be real helpful for people that have never played Pathfinder before and want to build a character.
Yeah.
This is some old artwork of mine that I wanted to kind of... I actually drew this for a D&D character I had, Theron. I think our buddy Corey was DMing that game.
Yeah, that was for Encounters, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was when they were still doing the play test for 5e.
Yeah.
Anyway, I made this artwork for that character, and he's a cool character, and so I thought, hey, I'll convert him to Pathfinder. So we'll start off by building him as level 1, and then maybe in a future video I'll level him up, that kind of stuff.
John, are you going to make an actual sheet and have it available for people? Or
yeah. Actually, I am.
Like a pre-gen?
Yeah, this is the sheet I'm using. It is the Abilius form-fillable PDF character sheet. You see all these highlighted fields. You can type things in. For example, the character's name. Theron Seer. And I'll save this out so people can keep it, use it as a pre-generated character. They can make changes, whatever changes they wish. I also have a link here to these sheets. Sometimes they're kind of, if you Google them, they're kind of hard to find sometimes. But so I just put some on my hosting and made a link available. But we'll, if you've never played Pathfinder before, this looks pretty intimidating. But we'll walk through it, and it'll be no big deal. By the time we're done, you'll be like, oh, I get it. Everything's legit. Good to go. So we'll do that, and here's the link. I'll put this link here in the below the video here in the details section. And this is a page I put up on my website where it's just like a little checklist you can go through for all the steps for building your character. And it also has links to that sheet, the character sheet, as well as links to the Pathfinder rules.
So easy.
Yes, it'll be
all right there.
It'll be so easy for you noobs. This is a Pathfinder reference document. It's Paizo, the company that publishes Pathfinder. It's their official rules website. There's also the D20 PFSRD, which you can use, which is a third party group who has the rules online, and it has everything though. So I use it quite a bit. Yeah, just to keep things simplified though, we're gonna stick for the most part. We will use this a little bit, but for the most part, we'll stick with the official one, mainly because it breaks it down to like the different publications, like the original core rule book, and then the other books that they added over time, so you can find things. And if you happen to buy the Pathfinder core rule book, then and that's all you got. You want to use that instead of the web. For the most part, you'll be able to do almost everything we do just by using that core rulebook. So, step number 1. What is this character? Well, he's an elf. He's a fighter. He's an archer mainly, but he doesn't really use magic. So, for his character class, we're choosing fighter over ranger. And mainly, this guy's just like an archer in an elven army who decided to go seek out his own adventures. So some of the choices as far as background traits will reflect that. This should be an effective character, not necessarily optimized. We're not min-maxing scores or anything like that. And it's probably will be all right character for a Pathfinder Society play, but we're not going to guarantee that because I don't play Pathfinder Society. I don't think Jared does either.
I don't. So is this character going to be built entirely out of just the core rulebook, or did you deviate a little bit?
There is one thing I deviate, and that's right here. One place I deviate, and we'll get into that later.
Okay.
And so I do step into the advanced player's guide for that one thing. I also step into, I go into using the background traits and drawbacks, which I think is in the Ultimate Campaign book. And like I said, we are using the digital character sheet. So first thing first, we'll go into ability scores. And if you've never played Pathfinder before, but you play D&D, you know what that's about. If you've never played D&D, but you've played computer RPGs, like, whatever, Final Fantasy or that kind of stuff, you'll know strength, dexterity, constitution, all that stuff will seem pretty familiar to you. Now, if we go to the rules website, and you go down to the core rulebook and getting started, and if you've never played Pathfinder before, it's a good idea to skim through this, if not read it from beginning to end, because it explains a lot of the terminology and stuff that you'll hear a lot. Also, there's the step-by-steps for generating a character. If you already are sick of hearing my voice, you just end the video, go here, follow these steps. But anyway, so ability scores, there's a number of different ways to do it. Generally, in games I play where Jared's the game master for me, for the most part, we usually roll our dice and get our scores that way. Sometimes your game master will tell you to use the point buy system, which you'll see here, purchase. The way that works, we're not going to use that right now, but just to explain it a little bit, you're given a total number of points by your game master, usually like 25 for an epic fantasy character, or just 20 for pretty cool. And then you work off of this table here. So 10 is a very average score. If you gave your character all 10s, it costs nothing, and your character would pretty much suck. It's
just got a lot of growing to do.
Yeah, a lot of growing, and you'll see it's pretty cheap to increment up from 10 by 1, by 2, and then when you start getting into higher scores, it starts to go up, not exactly exponentially, but you can see like a 14 costs 5, a 15 costs 7, and so on. Up to 18 actually costs 17 points. So if you're playing a high fantasy game and you want an 18 in one of your scores, you're only going to have 3 points left to spend. So you can have an 18, 3 11s, and 2 10s or something. For a character like this, say I was given 25 points, I might not go with the 18. I might wait to 4th level to be able to bump up 1. And just stick with the 17 there. And I'd have 12 points left, so maybe I'd put a 17 in dexterity for an archer. That's probably his most important stat. And then I'd go with maybe a couple 14s in constitution and strength. And then maybe like a 12 for intelligence and 2 10s or something.
You can also plan around your racial feats. Your racial skill ability bonuses.
Yeah, because depending on the race you choose, you're going to get bonuses to these scores and sometimes a penalty, for example.
Yeah, it's always good to keep that in mind when you're placing your number rolls.
Yeah. So for an elf, you see you get a bonus to your dexterity and intelligence, but you lose constitution. Constitution's for hit points. So this actually makes a good archer because dexterity is your main stat for an archer, because on a ranged attacks you use dexterity. Hit points are a little less important because you should be out of the fight and standing back and not right up in it. But they're by no means is that a throwaway score. Charisma for this character is probably going to be our throwaway score. He's not going to get along with people very well. So going back to that, the ability score charts there, you could actually give yourself a low score to give yourself more points to work with. So like if I put a charisma at an 8, I'd be able to bump up one of those other scores. But like I said, we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and roll. Generally, when working with Jared, he lets you roll a couple different sets of numbers here.
That's right.
My zebra. See that, Jared?
Yeah.
Got this when I was in Kenya.
I was gonna ask.
The method for rolling dice, there's actually a few different methods. You can roll just 3d6 and add them together. That's going to give you a lot of low scores. The standard, though, is rolling 4 6-sided dice. Let's use these Legend Comics dice. Legend Comics in Coffee, Omaha, Nebraska.
Free plug.
My buddy and I had these made for them. These are the 6s. It's their logo. Oh, geez. I wish I could keep that roll. So here's how it works. when you roll these numbers, you drop the lowest die and you keep what you have left. So 17 would be amazing. I'm not going to let myself keep it, though.
Yeah, man.
I was just setting them down.
You'll roll just as good, man.
All right. Maybe I need a little archer help here. All right. Use somebody with a little bow and arrow there to bring some power to these die. Here, shoot that guy. All right. All right. So the first set, let me put the cursor here, and I'll just type. What I guess I'll do is I'll type the numbers here on this line, and then
and then you can place them.
What's that?
So then you can place them after that.
Yeah. All right. What do we? Oh, see, look, there's the 17.
Look at that, dude.
Drop that too, and I get my 17 back. Man, all right.
Nice.
The archer helped. All right, 17. And so this can go pretty quick. Holy shit.
Oh, dude. Look 17.
At that. So that's 3 17s in a row I rolled, right? And that's even a
so
5.
Far.
I'm even dropping a 5. Holy crap. All right, I don't think I'll... Oh, let me just shut up. 11. Not so bad.
Starting to even out now.
12. Not so bad. Drop the 1, and you got 3 4s there.
No negatives yet. That's pretty sweet.
Oh, not too bad again. 13. Dropping a 1. And, okay, this character now, I'm not going to even roll another set of numbers, because this is ridiculous.
No, man, you did great.
All right, this is 2 17s, 15, 11, 12. This is beyond... See, this would not be Pathfinder Society legal. I know that much. I'm pretty sure they do point-buy systems. I know that for a fact.
Hey, but you rolled those live, man. You're not cheating.
Witness. Live action. All right, so...
Yeah, man. Pretty solid rolls.
So this character is a superstar. Anyway, so 17s. I know where they're going. Strength and dexterity. No question. Right? What would you do, Jared?
Okay. Here you go, man. So, listen. You could put the 15 on your, dex, because your racial ability is going to kick that up to 17.
That's
and
true.
Then you could put a 17 in your constitution, because you're already taking a -2 on your constitution.
Yeah.
So...
So that would basically swap. So if I did that, 15, 17, then when you add in these actual numbers, when you fill out your sheet, 17 and 15 is what that would be.
Just because that way you're still beefy, you know what I mean? Because you are a fighter, and like you said, your racial ability takes that dex up, and you're still going to have a nice bonus. What, a +3? So
yeah, that's not too bad. I think though, actually, for this guy, because archery is his thing. If I was going to do that, I think I would actually put the 17 in Constitution and drop the strength down to 15.
Yeah.
Because I won't even be able to add damage at first level until your character gets a composite longbow. You won't even be able to add that strength bonus to your damage. So later on, I might wish I had it, but for now, I think it'd be all right. So let's just run with this for now. 17 in the Constitution, and then that way he'll have more hit points.
And I like that. I like that it reflects. It reflects that he's better with a bow than he is with a blade.
Yeah.
Or he favors one over the other.
Because then eventually I might throw a... Like I said, I'm not trying to optimize this character, so he's the best perfect thing ever. So I might throw a feat into weapon finesse at the a short sword or a rapier or something, so he can wield a sword, and then he'll be able to use his dexterity bonus for his attacks in that case. So yeah, I think I'll probably do that. So let's go high intelligence, so we get a few more skills, and then 12, and he's not so bad charisma wise as I thought he would be.
Yeah, well,
I was figuring I'd have an 8 or a 9 somewhere on that set of 6, but no need. Okay, so ability scores are done. Let's use the checklist I made. Check. Next, we're going into racial traits and that kind of stuff. So let's swap over to the character sheet. First off, we know he's an elf. Let me just type that in there. And we'll fill out some of this other stuff shortly after. So strength ended up being a 15. Adding the 2 to that 17 for elf makes that a 19 there. And a 15 in constitution with the -2 penalty. Intelligence also gets a bonus, so the 13 goes to 15. And then we have a 12 and 11. Okay, so here's where you see the modifiers. If you're new to the game, you'll use these numbers a lot. When you roll an attack with a ranged attack, you're gonna get the +4 bonus. By the way, yeah, if you haven't noticed, the nice thing about the sheet is it does math for you, so it figures out your bonuses when you type in your base numbers here. It's already started figuring out your armor class, which is a combination of your dexterity and your armor you're wearing and other things. And it already started figuring out your attack modifiers here too.
And your saves, yeah.
Yeah, and your saves and everything. So it's nice. It's pretty handy. So to the racial traits, let's go back to the rules website. And if you go back to the top, core rulebook, races, you can scroll down and find elves. Should be the second entry under doors. It's alphabetical. A little bit of reading for you if you're new to the game to see how they portray elves in Pathfinder world. Elf racial traits, like we said, bonus to dexterity, intelligence, not to constitution. They're medium-sized creatures, which means they're same as like humans and stuff. Low light vision, which is kind of nice. See better in dim light than humans. Elven immunities. This is another good reason to pick an elf. Anybody who tries to magically put you to sleep, not going to happen. And you get a bonus on your saving throws if somebody tries to enchant you. If they try to use like a charm person spell on you, or dominate person, that kind of stuff. Elven magic. Now this one is not going to do us any good. Our elf has no magic skills, and it'd be really nice if we could trade that out for something else. All right, keep that in mind. For right now, we'll just move past that. Keen senses gives you a bonus to perception, probably the most used skill in the game, so that's good. And weapon familiarity. This, again, since we're a fighter, doesn't really do us too much good until you find like an elven curved blade or something, which would be an exotic weapon. But as a fighter, you already have proficiency with long bows, long swords, this other stuff. But you don't with like an elven curved blade, and that's a pretty good weapon. So maybe that's what we'll go with when we start leveling the guy up and he starts, getting money to spend. And as far as languages go, common and elven, and go with that. So let's go to the character sheet and fill a couple of these things in. The languages I just talked about, common, elven, and since I got a +2 bonus to my intelligence, with languages, you get to choose 2 more. And like it says here, Celestial, Draconic, Gnoll, Gnome, Goblin, Orc, and Sylvan. Depending on the game you're playing in, you might want to ask your game master, like, all right, are we going to be fighting a lot of orcs? Do we know this already? Are we going to land where there's a lot of goblins? Are we eventually going to face off with a dragon? That kind of stuff. Sometimes they'll give you that information, and it'll be really helpful in building your character. For right now, just because it's pretty cool, I'll say this guy speaks, I don't know, Draconic, because it sounds awesome. And maybe Orc or something. He's an orc killer.
Yeah, he wants to mock them before he kills them in their own language.
Absolutely. Goblins he could care less about, but orcs, they really piss him off, so. So yeah, orc and draconic. And you can learn more languages when we go into skills with linguistics, but we'll worry about that a little bit later. So as far as like putting down these other notes for low light vision, just find a place on the sheet to write the stuff. I like to add the stuff right over here, because some of these things don't really have a place, like low light vision. Elven immunities, I'll just write that. And I'm familiar enough with the game that I know what that means, so I'm not going to actually write what that means next to it, but you might want to.
I always put like a page number reference too for things.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Like if I have a physical rule book, anyways.
Yeah, that's actually a handy idea. I don't think you can use a hyperlink on this, but that'd be pretty sweet. The other one was keen senses, and I don't really need to write that down because I know that gives me a +2 to my perception. So a little head start on skills. I'll go over here. On the left side is the total. This is what you add. This is the bonus you add to your roll. And then ranks is, we'll worry about in a little bit. Ability is your ability score with perception. I have a +1 bonus for my wisdom. So under miscellaneous, I will add the +2 from my Elven Keen Senses. You'll see that it adds the 2 automatically for you to the 1, giving me a 3 right now in my perception. Not too bad. After that, Weapon Familiarity and Elven Magic. We don't really need to write those down, especially the Elven Magic, because guess what? We don't want that. It does us no good. So this is where I said I deviate from the core rulebook a little bit. If you scroll back to the top and you go to the Advanced Player's Guide, which was, I think, the first hardcover book they put out after the after the core rulebook, and you go to races, it gives you some alternate options. Scroll on down to elves, and it has, again, some fluff here. It's like, fighter. Hey, fighters are known for lightness on their feet if they're an elf, blah, blah, blah. So, some interesting things there, but what we really want to do is get down into these alternate racial traits. And the one we want to replace, because these replace ones that we have already, is the Elven Magic racial trait. And so we'll look at the end of each of these options. It looks like we could go with Desert Runner. You could go with Eternal Grudge, Lightbringer if you're willing to get rid of Elven immunities as well, Silent Hunter, and I think the last one, Woodcraft. I chose Silent Hunter. I don't want to sit here and read through them all. You can do that on your own if you'd like, because this gives you a little bit of a bonus to your stealth. And while a fighter isn't necessarily always using stealth, with a high dexterity score, this guy should actually be pretty decent at it. So this allows him to use stealth while he's actually running, even though it's a big penalty, and also allows him to. It also reduces the penalty for using stealth while you're moving. So back over on my character sheet, I'll go ahead and write Silent Hunter.
Silent but deadly.
And for right now, I'm not going to add that extra information there. All right, so I think that's pretty much it as far as the racial stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll use my checkbox, and then we'll go to class features. Now, back to the website again. Now, back to the core book, go to classes, scroll down, find fighter, and here you go. All your rules for fighter, it's actually pretty short compared to some of the other stuff, some of the other classes. With the fighter, it's pretty easy. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this chart, because we'll come back to figure out our hit points and this skills. We'll do that after we do this other stuff. This chart, we're building a first level character, and this kind of gives you a table to follow as you advance your character. The base attack bonus is something you add to all your attack rolls. You see that goes up every time you level up with a fighter. Then your save bonuses here. Fortitude is the good one for a fighter. Reflex and will saves suffer. And the only special thing you get at first level for a fighter is a bonus feat, which is good, but that's the only thing you have to worry about for now. So let's start by filling in some of these numbers. Base attack bonus, fortitude saves, and all that stuff. And on this character sheet that I'm using, the class stuff is located over here. Now you'll see there's multiple lines here. That's in case you multi-class, which is, as you level up, if you want to add a level of sorcerer or something like that. I don't necessarily recommend that, but it's your character, do what you want. Fighter. And then filling in the numbers real quick, he has a +1 BAB. Skip these two for now. Fortitude bonus is a 2. Has reflex and will is 0 for now. We have just one level. Okay, and then you see that BAB is added. If you scroll down here, it's already added to your attacks in the bottom left there. So your ability bonus for your ranged is a 4 dexterity at 1. So now you get a +5 anytime you shoot your bow. Not too bad. And back to that class sheet, we're also going to want to fill in the skills per level. Fighters get 2 skills per level plus their intelligence modifier. So for my guy, that's 4. And hit dice is basically you get a hit die every level. And then you roll that to figure out your hit points. For a fighter, it's a D10. And with Pathfinder characters, you roll your dice and you add your Constitution score. So when you level up, I'd roll a 10-sided dice, add the +2 from my bonus for Constitution, and that'd be how many hit points I gain at that level. At first level, though, in Pathfinder, you actually get the maximum there. So the 10 from that hit die, you don't actually have to roll at first level. So you get the 10, you add the 2 from your Constitution bonus here, and you get 12. So you type that in there, you'll see it fills out your total hit points here. And this one you can, if you print out your sheet, you can keep this filled out by hand. If you get knocked down from 12, like say you take 3 hit points damage, you can write 9 there. If you are using the sheet digitally, you have a tablet or something with you while you're playing, you can type it in. It's up to you. Where it says favored class here, basically that's always whatever the first class you choose in fighter is what mine is. And if you multi-class, that's when that comes into play. But like I said, we're not really going to worry about that too much. So I think that's kind of it for this part. Let's go back to here. Yeah, I don't think... you get a bonus feat. We'll talk about that when we move on to feats here shortly. But for now, let's go into skills, not slills. I guess I got a typo. Yeah. All right. Skills, 2+ intelligence modifier. Okay, so a quick runabout on skills. Here in this far column, you'll see I have a total of 4 skills to choose from. You'll see, again, the total on the side here where you don't see a number. That means you can't really use that one yet. And ranks, this is where you upgrade your skill abilities. And trained, I'll explain that shortly. So first off, like I said, perception is one of the most important ones in the game. I like to put one there. With a fighter, and especially with an archer, I might need to climb something so I get some high ground to shoot my arrows. So I'll put not a 12, a 1 there. And what would you do, Jared? What else would you use for
Well, are you trying to play the stealthy side of this guy?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I'll add a 1 to stealth there.
I mean, you do have a nice stealth bonus already, but...
Hey, it can't hurt to have that. That'd be better.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and you don't know really yet whether in your game your character will have a horse to ride or not. So for right now, I'll leave the ride empty, but sometimes it's good to have a decent score there. Perhaps, let's say, and we can change these around. Oh, go ahead.
It's always good to prepare for the unexpected. So like ride is always, like rides, you can kind of start putting one or two in there every once in a while. And
Mm-hmm.
but first level, dude, those are things to maybe think of down the line.
Yeah. So you kind of have to just make the decision to whether to beef up something you're already good at or improve something you're bad at. Like I'm bad at diplomacy, so maybe I don't want to have to roll a 0 every time I need to talk to somebody. Or maybe I'm decent at escape artist. Maybe I want to boost that up. So I have 3 of my 4 here, and mind you, you can't put more than at level 1. You can't put more than 1 rank in a given skill. So I can't put them all on perception right now. So even a 4th level character, I couldn't have this number be higher than 4, and so on. 5th level 5. So you can't. Otherwise, I would just put it all in perception right now and just be awesome right off the bat. But there is another way these numbers are going to go up, and that is with the class skills. And you see over here at the top, it lists the fighter's class skills: climb, craft, handle the animal, intimidate, and so on. Back on the sheet, we have little check boxes on the left side: climb, craft, handle animal, intimidate, and so on. Knowledge of dungeoneering, knowledge of engineering, and these. I had to remember how to spell dungeoneering. And these are going to give you a bonus once you start beefing them up. What happens is anytime you put a rank into a skill that's one of your class skills, it gives you a one-time 3-point bonus. So if I at 2nd level put a 2nd rank here, you're not going to get another 3. It's just like a one-time bonus. So you'll see my strength has already jumped up to a 6 because of that. Boom. So 1 rank, 2 for strength, and a 3 from my class skill bonus. You don't get that 3 points until you add a rank in your skill. So let me just continue down the line. Unfortunately, perception is not a fighter class skill. That'd be nice. Neither is stealth. For this character, that would also be nice. But it's not. So we'll just have to do without. Or do we? Because when we get into background traits, you might be able to fix that a little bit. And we'll talk about that here shortly. But for now, we got our skills pretty much figured out. Now that I see where my class skills are, I'm going to put something in there to really beef it up. See, the ride. I'm going to say my GM told me we're going to get horses early on. So you know what? All right. Let's bump it up. Now he's a master of riding a horse. An 8 so far. So that's pretty dope. Another thing you might want to consider is if you look here where it says skill can be used untrained with the asterisks. When you see something like stealth has that, but spellcraft doesn't. That means if you don't put a rank in it, you can't use it. So like if somebody asks you for a heal check, like your buddy's dying and you want to stabilize them, without actually putting a 1 in there, you can't actually use this skill. Or wait, is that the... Okay, never mind. The skill can be used untrained is on the left side. So these asterisks on the right side are for armor check penalties. Yeah, those are for armor check penalties. Okay, so look to the left side of the box. So anything that has an asterisk on the left side of the box you can use without putting a rank in it. I was going to say, I thought you could heal.
Yeah, and sure enough, she'd already populated those for you.
Yeah, so, and that's nice too. Yeah, so disable device. If you have a trap you want to disarm or something, I can't do it. There's no asterisk there, therefore it doesn't even put a 0 in the box. So that's another nice thing about this character sheet. If you don't see a number, you can't do it. All right. So, and again, so that's another, say you think, hey, I might really actually have to use disable device at some point or sleight of hand. Then go ahead and put your rank in there. Because even with the 4 dexterity, I can't do sleight of hand. I'll keep the super rider, though, because I think that's kind of cool. But normally I think I would take the sleight of hand. All right, let's move on. I'm starting to ramble here, and that's never good on a, a tutorial. Back to the sheet. So after skills, we have feats. Now, what feats are, they're basically the way you really customize your character. Skills is one way. These background traits will be another, but feats is the real big thing to help focus your character and what you want them to be.